Hi, I'm Somer Hackley,
And I am Zen Mak, and this is the Art of Search Hiring Manager series.
and these are stories and insights about all things hiring. Zen, just us again.
Hello, Summer. I love
Hello.
these.
I
I love
know.
our guests, but I love these too.
I do too. I love our catch ups. All right. Question for you. So let's say a client calls you and they say, all right, Zen, great news. We're ready to make an offer. All right. What do you do? What's next? Do you have a certain framework you follow? Go for it.
Oh, well, for starters, it's always exciting to hear that a client wants to hire somebody that you put forth. And I think oftentimes when you hear that, or at least when I hear that, I immediately go, wait, hold on. Do you want to make an offer? Like you've made a decision that you want to offer the person the job? Because then I would actually go back to the candidate before anything else. I would find out if this is actually the job that they want. And oftentimes, when I hear recruiters call candidates with the decision to hire, they literally say the words, "Hey, XYZ candidate, this company wants to make you an offer. Do you want an offer?" And of course, you want an offer. An offer is a compliment. An offer is a, hey, we want you to be part of this team. It feels really good. And besides, an offer's an offer. You can choose to take it or not. And so I think where most folks kind of wait or waffle a little bit is this concept of you're getting an offer. Okay, well,
Hmm.
is this the right job? And I hear maybe I don't know enough about the job yet. And so for recruiters, or at least for people who are making offers and wanting to make the hire, I think we need to start there with understanding if in fact the job that we want this person for is the job that they want. Or do they know enough about the job to know that this is the job that they want? And then we move to an offer stage. Because otherwise, no amount of money, I suppose some amount of money, is going to make the job any more attractive. The stuff that they're going to do on a day-to-day basis, who they're going to be working with, what they're going to deliver, those are not going to be done away by a salary, an offer. But they will be if it's the right job, it's the right people, it's the right location. And what I mean by that is some of the return to office location and commute is now factoring back in. I do think that getting it right from a job perspective is more important than getting it right from an offer perspective.
Yeah. Now I agree that taking the word offer away is really critical. As easy it is to call a candidate and say, all right, like, here we go. Here's your offer. They're ready. Before we get there, and hopefully before that client calls saying that, we
Mm,
know if the candidate wants the job. And
yeah.
something that I like to do, and I'm sure you do this too, is in order for a candidate to seriously reflect on if they want to accept something and if they can see themselves, they have to know if the company's thinking very seriously about them because it's an emotional
Mm,
commitment to go through the mental gymnastics of like, okay, I'm going to sit down with my family. I'm going to really think about this thing. Do I want it? What are the pros? What are the cons? What is the growth? What is this? What are my questions? You're only going to do that if you know they like you. Like if you're one of 10 candidates, you don't know where you stand. You're like, let's
yeah.
see how it goes. But so on my side, as a recruiter, I like to tell the candidate, look, you're going for finals. You're one of two. They're thinking very seriously about you. So it's kind of planting that seed
Mm,
before the offer comes out of like, start thinking, like, now's your time. Start
yeah.
thinking of the things because I'm going to ask you if you want this job, after this. I'm going to ask you if you got all your questions answered, stuff like that. And so, um, just planting those seeds that people can start thinking of the things because sometimes they wouldn't even think to ask. And if all this stuff's coming out about offer, it's
Yeah.
very difficult to raise all of these concerns at the 11th hour, in my experience.
I agree with that because it comes across a little bit of, wait, you're unsure.
Hmm.
And it's hard to say no to an offer. But
Yeah.
before the offer comes out, I think it's important that we find out whether or not it's the right job. And we being recruiters, or we being hiring managers, or we being internal teams, if we're unclear that that person wants that job, then by the time we rush it to the offer stage, it's just compounding the pressure without actually getting to the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can do something about that, like to display what this opportunity looks like. What is this job? What is the day to day? What are the expectations? What's day in the life? To really give that person an impression of what that job looks like so that they can make the right decision. And
Mm-hmm.
as you said, it'd probably be a little bit too late to try to have those discussions when there's an offer forthcoming versus having those discussions after the first round of interviews, after the
Right.
second round of interviews, after the quote unquote panel or on site interviews, or every interaction in between should give the candidate and the job seeker more and more pictures of what it looks like, this job. I think that's the right move.
Mm-hmm.
If we get all the way to offer and then we just ask, "Hey, do you want an offer?" Yes, please.
Right.
I want to frame them and hang up on my walls because an offer feels fantastic. But
Yes.
ultimately, we're after filling the role, and so it's got to
Mm-hmm.
be the right role.
Yeah. Collecting offers is different than accepting offers
Yeah,
and accepting the position. I love that.
exactly. Well, you're
And
one person. How many offers can you accept? One,
that's
right? So,
true.
so you should take the job that most
Mm-hmm.
fulfills your long-term goal. I
I
mean,
had a quick follow-up question for
go
you.
for it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go for it.
Um, so have you ever had a situation where, okay, the client's like, we're going to make an offer, we're ready. And you say either don't, or you say, this isn't the right time, or here's what we need to do first. I'm super curious if you've ever put the brakes on that, or at least a pause.
Almost always.
Really?
Almost always. We want to make an offer, so great. Before you do anything, let's just check in with the person after the on-site interview. Do they still feel like this is the right job? Do they have any questions before you make an offer? Let's make sure that this is the right job for them. Because at that point, an offer is logistics. That's my point of view, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to pay out of market. They're going to pay something that is fair according to your organization. You've evaluated the person, you've decided that you want them to be a part of the team. So you're not going to be completely out of left field. So let's just make sure that this is the right job because the fears for a hiring manager or a company that's hiring could be things like, are we overpaying? Are we underpaying? Does this person really want to do this for the long term, or are they just doing this and keep interviewing until the next good thing comes along? I think a lot of those could be mitigated by really being convinced that this person knows that this is the right job for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, to answer your question directly, almost always, "Hey, Zen, we want to make Somer an offer. Fantastic. Before you do, let me check in."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, and I love what you said, just to wrap it all up with the thinking of it as logistics
Mm-hmm.
and taking the emotion out of it. And so we should already have covered all of that stuff that would cause any trepidation in logistics, right? It should
Mm-hmm.
just be like, oh, cool, what I was expecting, I want it and done, right? Versus, oh, wait, I've got 1,000 things that bubbled up now. So I like thinking of it. I
Exactly.
like thinking of it just that way, just really simple.
Yeah. And I know I'm probably going to get some detractors when I say offers or logistics, but in in the years that I've been doing this, when you find that the person has the right job, the
Hmm.
right team, the right cultural additions, the right elements of how this job is going to move them forward in their careers, it's almost always a solvable thing when it comes to offer,
Hmm.
the actual offer amount. Start date, base salary, bonus if there's any, equity package, all those things could be worked through if it's the right job. If it's the wrong job, then the only leverage you do have would be salary or benefits or days off or flexibility. And those all become really contentious because they're trying to justify it's not exactly what I want, but I'll do it if. And that's where you get the folks that are continuing to interview or worse, they join and then they leave because ultimately they're trying to settle the fact that it's not the right job with hopefully a right offer.
100%. So we'll wrap it up with before you make an offer, know
Check
how that's going to go. And
Check in.
check
Find
in,
out, right? Is
find
it the
out,
right job?
get the info. I agree. All right, cool. It was a great chat. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.